Thank you, nice Jitsi lady. I appreciate you telling us that the live streaming is now on. Welcome, everybody, to another meeting of the United States Pirate Party. I am Drew Bigeman, your captain for this evening, and we will go around as I see people and introduce ourselves. Frank, I see you first.
Hello, I'm Frank Flores of Texas.
Awesome, thank you. Wanda.
I'm Wanda, representative from Florida.
Thank you. David.
And I'm the other representative from Florida.
Awesome. And if I can get my screen to show everybody, there we go. Mitch, you're up next.
Ahoy, Jolly Mitch of the Chicagoland Nye, the Illinois Pirate Party. As always, friend of the show.
Appreciate that. Eli.
Eli McGee, Massachusetts representative.
Awesome. Ty.
West Virginia observer and vice captain of the United States Pirate Party.
All right, great. Thank you. And finally, Dustin.
Howdy, Dustin from Virginia, Pirate Party, observer, I guess, and then also,
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. So I'm going to open the floor for reports, announcements, any of that kind of jazz. Anybody have something? Mitch.
Just wanted to say, I guess this is an official announcement, just a reminder. Next week, we got the transhumanists on with us, which I will be sure to have a rough draft idea or a model of what the coalition should look like. Again, I want to reiterate that this isn't like my brainchild of like, oh, this is how it'll work and this is how we would do it. I plan on pirating the bylaws from the broad front of Uruguay. I like their system. I think their system would work well in the United States. That's what I'm going for, and I'm hoping to present that next week accordingly. And then also I voted today, and I noticed the library trustee had up to 3 candidates and only 1 lady running. So if I accidentally win a position as library trustee, you'll know what happened.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. We all, I mean, pirates should love our libraries, right? It's like free sharing of information. So I support my local library. I have 2 locally in my town and the neighboring town that I actually do tech support for. So I like to keep them happy. So good stuff.
I
Anything?
actually have a question about that.
Yeah.
Mitch, is that the same election where I saw the Reform Party had endorsed a candidate?
I wouldn't imagine so, unless, I mean, the Reform Party may have had a local person running, but it wouldn't have been in my library. The lady that I recognize, she actually ran as she was the Republican candidate for I believe state representative in 2024. So I assume she's a Republican on the local level too. And then it. Every town has a different library board, so I'm sure they've had a few candidates, but unfortunately, just not this one.
Just seemed like an interesting timing for both of them to be around the same time.
Well,
In the
I think
middle of
this,
the
yeah, I think this time of year is, I mean, from any time from around now till almost June is primary season for non-presidential election years. So I mean, Pennsylvania's isn't until May. So yeah. So we're going to have election. There will be primary elections all across the country. I encourage everybody to get involved or at least get informed. Know who, because most of the country is going to be electing a lot of local officials this year. Because we're also not having congressional elections either. So the elections this year should be mostly state and local stuff. So and that may vary depending. I think there's a special election too somewhere to
There
replace.
is. There's congressional special elections happening right now here for District 1 and District 6.
There you go. Are there any decent candidates?
Well, there's the bad candidates and there's the less bad candidates.
I mean, that's mostly what we get when it comes to Congress and the Senate and up. Even like state level candidates usually are bad or worse. Put it that way, I guess. Anything else, Mitch, about the upcoming meeting with the transhumanists?
No, I would say that the hope is that we establish another date to finally tie the bow on it. I think that this is the meeting to establish that we've already got our feet wet. We all agreed that we would like to work together. I think this meeting is to establish, hey, this is our time to have an idea of what we're going in towards, and hopefully, I would like by the conference. Hopefully, I would like us to already have the coalition in place.
Okay, awesome. Jester, you've just joined us. If you would ID, please.
Of course, this is Ashley Melody, interim representative for the Indiana Pirates.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay, then we will move on from that. So everybody tune in next week because we'll hopefully have a lot of people on our live stream and plenty of guests from the Transhumanist Party, and we'll be talking about forming a coalition. So that's cool and exciting. Are there any other announcements, updates, reports, anything else that somebody would like to chime in on? Wanda, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to announce that the Florida Pirate Party is going to be resuming regular meetings on Saturday the 29th. We're also currently working on revamping our website. And I've also reached out to some of our friends in Alabama and North Carolina to try to get the ball rolling on state parties there.
Awesome. I think there also was a request for. I could be misremembering this. I think was it Washington State? Somebody was interested in seeing how what they need to do to get started.
If you're
I
referring to the Discord, I believe that was Arizona, and I did just ping him in the Arizona chat. So hopefully, if Wanda gets the other two, hopefully I can get to Arizona.
I think there was one in the info email
Oh.
that came in the last day or so. I didn't get a chance to respond. I figured we'd touch base and see if somebody wanted to take that on. But I can follow up with you guys after the meeting. That's not a huge deal. That's all good news, Wanda. Great to hear. Wish you good luck. Pennsylvania's website needs to move because it's far too expensive for me to keep hosting it where it is. And I have literally days to do that at this point, and I have procrastinated a little too much. So we may go offline for a few minutes, and while we transition. So, but we're not going away. We're just in process of moving. So that's just trying to be a little more thrifty in these crazy economic times.
I would also like to say it's probably a good time to remind everyone that we have a Discord server. If you don't mind, I can post the invite link in the YouTube chat.
Absolutely. It's a great way to do it. Or anybody out there listening or watching can go to uspirates.org/join, and I believe there's a link there as well.
Could someone verify that it showed up in the chat for me? Because sometimes links are funny on YouTube.
No, it appears as just the words U.S. Pirate Party Discord.
Yeah, I think someone on the official account would have to put that in the chat for it to actually show up.
Well, let me see if we can do that. We don't have Darren here tonight, and I do want to talk to him about him and I working together, along with anybody else that wants to help plan the events for the convention, our annual meeting. Because I will be responsible for maintaining the meeting, and making sure we have an agenda and kind of a time frame and everything. I will also say that I probably will not be on site in San Francisco. Unfortunately, that just doesn't look like it's going to happen for me this year. But I do think we will probably need somebody offsite anyways, to run the online meeting, because we're still going to have an online meeting like we did last year, even though we had in-person people. And I also assume that since Darren oftentimes does stream from there on these nights, from the ship where it's being held, that we will that all of you who are in person, if you have devices along with you, you should be able to hop in and participate in the online meeting. Let's see, what else do I have? Is there anything that we need to discuss, talk about, otherwise, like official business wise? Mitch, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that 3 weeks from today is going to be the weekend right before Pan American Day. I am working on the handouts. I apologize. The draft that I have too far, because I've been working on my phone. I printed it out and it's too tiny to read, so I'm going to be switching over to a computer and working on it properly. I will be sharing that for anyone who wants to use it. If anyone even wants to do it, I plan on just setting up a table at a veterans park and handing these out and trying to promote the Pirate Party and some of our ideals. And I felt like, what better day to do that than Pan American Day? And it has a bunch of different things that are important to us on it. I think a Saturday or Sunday, if you guys can spare 2 hours or an hour of your day, I think that would make a world of difference. You convince one person to vote pirate, that's one person more than we didn't have before, and we slowly build that way. But I will have the handout. I hope I'm setting a deadline to next week. Hopefully after the transhumanist meeting, I will be able to send that out for you guys, or right before I'll send it out to you guys. But that's the only thing I have, is that I'm still working on it, and I will get that to you guys as soon as I can.
Okay, thank you. Oh, it looks like we did get a link. Did that link come in for the?
It did
Okay,
on my end, at least.
all right. Does anybody else have
I can also
eyes on
confirm.
it? Okay, all right. I was gonna say I was kind of, while Mitch was talking about that stuff, I was kind of trying to get it from my end. So okay, um, that all sounds good. Appreciate that. Floor is open for anything else. We've got anything else we need to talk about? Go ahead, Wanda.
Just a couple things I wanted to bring up. Or actually more than a couple now that I think about it. Starting off, I think we probably need to be a bit more proactive in reaching out to people who may be interested. I feel like there's a lot of people in our Discord who would be willing to help get things started in their states or in their local areas who haven't been talked to at all, and it may be on us to try to reach out, talk to them, offer help, um, et cetera, et cetera.
Anybody have anybody have anything to add to that? Mitch, go ahead.
One thing I could suggest is that when I was Swarm Care Manager, we used to have outreach meetings. Wanda, I actually believe you may have attended one of them. I had one for the American Mediterranean region, where I gathered up all the information to form the Florida Pirate Party, and the Alabama and Mississippi, and anyone who was along the American Mediterranean. So if there is anyone who is interested from that region, because it sounds like you're Alabama would obviously be in that region. You'd be in that region. I think it'd be easy to just host another one. Give people an opportunity. We could post that on Twitter. We could do one region a month, which was something I was hoping to do when I was Swarm Care Manager. Uh, and we could just hit all the states. So if that's something you're interested in, Wanda, if you want to help me with that, we could absolutely get that going and give the people who are in these various states opportunities to sit down and find out what they need to do to get started.
I'd just like to say I'd love to help you with that. I don't particularly want to make any promises because I'm definitely prone to burnout, but as much as I can, I will try to help with that.
I think we're all a little prone to burnout, so appreciate that. One thing, I'll be right with you, Dustin. One thing I would probably suggest is for maybe kicking this whole thing off is just having a general meeting, and then letting kind of inviting everybody that's interested in just getting started with a party. You can just give basic help, or where to start, and then those people that are interested in going in their various regions can then catch up, and then do the second step and do more of refining stuff in the regional meetings. Um, that way, you can put a big announcement out, try to get as many people as possible into that first meeting, and maybe we'll have a little bit better response that way. Dustin, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was basically gonna say something along the lines of what you said to respond to what Mitch was saying.
Right.
Uh, Outside of that, also, I don't know if anyone's been doing participating in any ballot initiatives lately, but there's been some, at least in DC, attempted laws to be passed to try and restrict uh, ballot initiatives from being able to use funding. And that's been a tactic that is starting to be used across the country against ballot initiatives to try and limit what people are allowed to do with ballot initiatives. So that may be something to look out for in terms of legislation that might be getting passed in different places right now. Just sort of heads up of things to campaign against if you look through legislation in your local area.
That is a good thing to watch out for. And anything that if anything that you see that's coming down the pipe that is bad like that, feel free to share it in Discord and our Signal chat so that we can make sure that we're aware, even if we missed it. That goes to everybody. That's kind of everybody. If anybody sees legislation or ballot initiatives, anything that we should probably get the word out on, please share it with us so that we know that to promote it, share it, get it out there so that we can get information out there, because we all know that information of late has not been really great with most of the country, and so if we can get it from as close to firsthand as possible, that would be awesome. One other thing I would like to say is getting ready for the upcoming convention. Uh, Start thinking about running for positions, because we need to fill positions, and some of us don't want to be in the same position forever and ever. So um, think of nominations. Think of if you want to run yourself, and you can announce it, you can hold it, but hopefully we can get all of our positions filled during the convention, during the vote, during our vote. So yeah, just think about volunteering, or think about upping your volunteering, and yeah, that'll be cool. Anything else that we need to discuss this evening? Go ahead, Wanda.
I also wanted to say that just things are pretty scary right now, especially with this El Salvador stuff.
Very.
And I think that as a party, we should be a lot more outspoken about these issues because it's just very scary stuff.
Uh, I don't even know how to talk to people that think that this is okay, and I know you really can't. Um, but seriously, if anybody's out there and thinks that it's okay to ship people to what's essentially a concentration camp in El Salvador with no due process, we have a process, right? There's a process. It's just a hearing. If there people are here illegally and need to be deported, I mean, I think most of the country would probably be okay. Okay, because that's where we're at. I personally would say just let them stay. And why are we spending money to send them to a country that isn't even the United States or anywhere for that matter? People come here that they want to work and they want to have a better life. So I think they should. That's my opinion.
Deportations are cruel to begin with, and it's even crueler
Absolutely.
to deport them to essentially slave labor camps in a country they're not from.
Right. Yeah, they're not even going home. We're not even sending them home with this. So I do think it's terrible, and I agree that it is something anyways, Mitch, then Ty.
Yeah, I want to say that forced displacement is not the way to build Pan American relations. As much as I want to have good relations with El Salvador, forcing people to go to an El Salvadorian prison is not the way to do it. And I think a good way to raise awareness of this is to take these handouts I have for you next week and organize for Pan American Day. Let people know that we do want good relations with El Salvador, but not like this, and that this is inhumane and should not stand.
Listen, I want good relations with everybody in all of the Americas. I mean, first of all, there's no reason that we should be talking of the way that we're talking with our neighbors in Canada. That's just insane. The stuff with Mexico, I mean, a lot of people are cranky with Mexico, anyways, so that's not as much of a surprise. But the Canadian stuff is absolutely insane. Uh, I hear that some of the stuff may actually impact citizens in Alaska pretty heavily because they do rely on a lot of Canadian stuff in Alaska, despite what the president says. I don't think he even remembers that Alaska is there. So yeah, that's that's crazy. Ty, go ahead.
Hello. So I out of all the things that's going on now with 47th POTUS, I wanted to look up just real quick tidbit stuff here. I wanted to look up previous presidents who defied judicial orders and their terms. And one of the notable ones, there's several of them. I have a compiled list, but one of them is Abraham Lincoln in 1861 as the ex parte Merryman. And so at the beginning of the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln unilaterally suspended the habeas corpus, allowing the military to arrest and detain suspected Confederate sympathizers, not even people who were even
Mm-hmm.
part of the actual Confederacy. And he did this without trial. He just commanded, to arrest their own citizens. So John Merryman, a Maryland resident accused of aiding the Confederacy, was arrested and held without formal charges at Fort McHenry. His lawyers petitioned for a writ of habeas corpus, arguing that only Congress, not the president, had the power to suspend it. And Lincoln was like, I don't care what you say, I'm ignoring it. And he continued on, arguing that the extraordinary circumstances justified his actions. And on July 4th, 1861, addressed to Congress, Lincoln defended his actions, saying, "Are all the laws but one to go unexecuted, and the government itself go to pieces, lest the one be violated?" The outcome of this is Congress later ratified Lincoln's actions, effectively legitimizing them. So, why I'm bringing this up is we have to be as loud as possible on making sure the people also are loud and letting Trump know he is in the wrong. Because there is a half and half chance, according to history, that Congress is going to side with Trump's actions, and hopefully they will not. I just wanted to bring that up. That's just one president.
I think our best hope is the fact that Chief Justice Roberts is sick of his bullshit, and he's already rebuked him, and that's been almost unprecedented that the Chief Justice would rebuke the president from things that he's done or said.
But have you considered that maybe that's what he wants?
He wants to hold them in contempt. He's so close to holding the administration in contempt. And this in itself is like a little war. That is a huge war. But there are several other presidents where Congress was like, okay, whatever, just let them do what they want. So this is a very interesting time. We're literally watching history repeat itself.
I think it's beyond history repeating itself. This is somebody who is taking unprecedented action and unprecedented unilateral action. We've had plenty of expansions of the presidential executive orders over the past couple of terms with various presidents, but this is pretty much about as far as you can go, and it's not even with executive orders. It's we have an unelected shadow president rampaging through the government with no real authority, just doing whatever he wants, and very few people are giving him any resistance other than a few people that have filed lawsuits in the court. So Congress will not do anything. I can tell you that because of the Republican majorities, and many of them are just right in the pocket. They've all been MAGA anyways. The Republicans anyway.
Not to mention that even the ones who oppose him are just complete worms.
Yeah.
On both sides,
Mm-hmm.
Democrats have just rolled over in Congress.
Yeah, I think the two that I see out front are AOC and Bernie. Those two are going around right now trying to drum up some support against this regime, and not a whole lot of others are actually out there, saying anything that makes any sense. We have MAGA Republicans that are going crazy in support of everything that Trump does, and slamming any judge that dares rule against him, calling for impeachments and whatnot. But it is pretty disgusting.
But of course, to centrist Democrats, it's the left's fault for being mean.
Mm-hmm. It's not the left's fault. It's the entire party's fault for letting their campaign run the way it did, and there is good evidence that that the election was interfered with way more than anything that was ever imaginable in 2020. So, especially with if there was an announcement by Anonymous that says that they have evidence that there was election tampering. There's Trump himself talked the way that the things that he says about, even my state, Pennsylvania, how Elon had it all locked up ahead of time. I work at a local precinct. I can tell you that at least our numbers were not skewed by Trump, but at the same time, we're a pretty heavy R district, so we wouldn't be targeted that way. But between voters getting challenged and thrown off the rolls, that's a massive election influence there. And then possible shenanigans with the numbers. I don't know if any of it actually happened or not, but there is a lot of stuff that is just leaning towards that. And
the Republicans have been rejecting Democrat results lately out of their town hall meetings.
Mm-hmm.
They look
I mean,
they look up their voting history.
I
Go
will
ahead,
say
Nick.
it's definitely a dangerous road to question um, the legitimacy of the actual results. But I will say it has always been in the Republican playbook to try to suppress the vote as much as they can.
Yeah, and even if it was not necessarily tampering with the machines and the count, we've got voter suppression. We've got Elmo and his ex that have had tremendous influence with him single-handedly uh, banning and pushing right-wing talking points to the forefront. Um, and if anybody doesn't think that X has a tremendous amount of influence, I mean, I don't know where you've been for the past 8 years, but it does. So there's at least that, and I think that's at least clear that that happened. So losing faith in the electoral system is very bad for America, um, and it's not good. It's not good. None of it is good. So now I think I'm gonna go have to have a drink or two or four or maybe take a gummy or something. Anyways, any other discussion that we need to have this evening?
There is one more thing I wanted to bring up while we're here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've noticed I've noticed the use of AI images in some of our party articles, and I wanted to ask that we please not do that in the future. I feel like it reflects poorly on us as a party. I feel like the use of AI is probably generally controversial, at least within the party, and it would be best at, to steer clear of that in things that go on our website.
Anybody have anything to add or
Well, I think being the party of the internet, being the digital party, I can't see where there's really anything inherently wrong with using AI to do much of anything. I mean, I think we're pretty unanimously in agreement that you know the works of AI should be public domain. So I don't really see where it would be a problem that we're using it at all, really.
Mitch, go ahead.
So I think I'm really the one that put up the AI photo in question, which was the pirate shaking hands with the cyborg during the announcement of the transhumanist meeting. So I will acknowledge that I do understand the controversy behind AI. I did address this during the virtual enlightenment salon with the transhumanist party. So I actually encourage not just you guys, but any viewer to please look up the virtual enlightenment salon that I was on with the transhumanist party. I think there was a lot of pirate information that you might, really good information you're going to get out of that. But one of the things I said is AI today, as funny as it might sound, kind of reminds me of auto tune from about 15 years ago, where everyone hated autotune or people were into autotune. People said it was ruining music and you're not a real artist if you're using it. And things have ebbs and flows, and it gives and pulls. And I think right now there is a misuse of AI. I think that there's going to be a lot of controversial usages of it. I think that we have to find a good balance to say, we don't think AI should be taking people's jobs. We don't think AI should be used as a tool to not pay people in lieu of when you could be paying artists. I do agree with, limiting the scope of AI, and I do think that the idea that AI should be in the public domain is, I mean, I think that's the standard bearer for us. I will say that I do hear you, Wanda, and I will at the very I may not back up entirely because it was the one time I did use it. I think maybe the group photo of the pirates may or may not have been AI. I pulled that from Google, and Google now has a habit of showing me AI photos with normal photos. So uh I I I am going to push back a little on it and say that I'm with Ty and think that we shouldn't back away entirely. However, I do hear you, and I will
Can,
put this in the sense of lessening it.
can I make a suggestion? Can we have this as a sort of a roundtable discussion or a debate uh, during our convention when we're not actively doing something else? Like Wanda, I see would you be willing to volunteer to be on the side of not using AI?
Um, yeah, sure. Um, I mean, my main point in being against the use of AI is just because it looks crappy. I feel like people will take us less seriously when they see that kind of stuff on our website. And we also have people in the party who I feel would be willing to help with artwork if we need it. And it's just generally a better practice to try to use real images um, where applicable.
Okay, awesome. I would just like to say that I think this sounds like a great discussion to have, and I think I'm gonna try and put this into the agenda somewhere. So if somebody would like to take the opposite, the pro AI position, I think obviously we can have more volunteers or somebody in the middle somebody in the middle. I will gladly sort of be the moderator on that discussion. But if you have, if you are pro or con and you are passionate about it, let us know and we will try to slot you in there. Frank, go ahead.
I think David was before me.
Oh, I'm sorry, David.
Yeah, I was just gonna. I mean, on the one hand, I mean the AI has gotten imagery has gotten better, so it doesn't look as crappy as it is. I was actually going to ask though, who all do we know in Pirate Party that actually does 3D rendered graphics stuff? Because I mean, I've done some of it. I mean, I've been doing a lot of Daz Studio stuff, but then again, I'm most of the time doing my own projects. But it would be useful to know how many people have, are doing the CG graphics stuff, so that if we need somebody on call to do some, we got a list of them to go to and say, okay, can you do something that has a pirate ship and a this, that, and the other in it for this upcoming event?
List of resources. That is also a good idea. I think that would probably be a good thing for the Discord to have a place where people can put their skills out there to be used, or whether it's what you do professionally or something you want to volunteer. If we know if we don't know who you are, we don't know that we can utilize your services. So, yeah, I think that's something that I think that we should probably put into the Discord so that we can get a a it's because Discord is as close to centrally available to everybody uh, as we have right now. So that would be, I think that would be a cool thing. Go ahead, Frank.
Yes, I just wanted to join Wanda and say, in opposition of AI usage for things like that, the provenance of AI is generally my problem with it because it's based mostly off of stolen work that was, taken without permission or even compensation. Where these companies will just take everything and then sell it to people and generate profits off. That's terribly wrong, and so I also oppose it. And in general for those
And
reasons.
and I would say to everybody on this discussion, put your thoughts down on paper or in a computer or wherever you want to take notes for your position, because this would be great for that discussion during our convention. Mitch, I saw you first. Is this about the AI?
Partially. I just wanted to say that I'm actually very excited to see such varying opinions within the Pirate Party on this, because we did try to have a platform plank introduced a while back, and I think that if we have enough people who can actually sit down and discuss how we feel about it, and if we come to an agreement, especially when we have such varying opinions, I would like to see us address, the issue of AI again. I think that this is,
That's
you know,
that's exactly why I suggest that we do that during our convention, and we have a roundtable discussion, because it is an emerging technology that does have serious copyright consequences, and so yeah, like I said, I'd suggest everybody, if you're interested in this topic and have opinions on this topic, write them down, save them somewhere, so that you can bring it to us at the conference, where we will have an announced time and place to have that discussion. Um, and while we've had a short one here, we can have a much longer, fleshed out conversation during the convention, where we have time set aside for that. And then maybe after the fact, we can then work on a platform plank and an official position. Wanda, was there something? Was this still AI or?
It was, but I can hold off on saying it for now.
I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody for, uh, and I appreciate the passion. I appreciate the strong opinions. I think it's really good for us to have this discussion, just like Mitch mentioned earlier. So yeah, this is good stuff, and that is something that I can. One of the things I can check off is trying to find things to fill our time during the convention. Mitch, go ahead.
Drew. I was just sitting on it. I was thinking about it, and you know, I wanted to say to everyone who's watching, my name is Jolly Mitch, and that is a pseudonym, obviously, a play on Jolly Roger. Uh, if for those of you that don't know me, my name is Mitch DeVillo, captain of the Illinois Pirate Party. I believe that the United States should be a good neighbor. We should keep our water clean, and if purchasing isn't ownership, piracy isn't theft. And I motion to adjourn.
Well said. Thank you. Do
Here,
I have a
here,
second?
second.
All right. Thank you. Do we have any objections? Looking for hands. 1, 2, 3. We're good. Okay, no objections. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We will be back here next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern with our special guests from the Transhumanist Party to begin discussions about our coalition that we are trying to build. So tune in for that, and we will see you all next week. Have a great night and hang in there. It's crazy times right now. Hang in there. We'll get through it one way or another. All right. Have a good night, everybody.